Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello! How's it going, everybody? We're back. We're doing another dev stream. Happy to be here. Excited to have some fun. See what trouble we get into. I'm just gonna be, this is my character I've been playing the whole time, and, you know, I really want to get my, passives and everything completed, so we're just going back into the campaign a little bit. Just a nice relaxing time here to get our passives and idle slots fleshed out, so we can be a little more efficient in the monolith and not fall on our faces a little too bad. While we do that, I'll be answering questions that you've got here. We've got our lovely helper Fitz back again today, and he'll be funneling questions from chat to me so I can answer them more efficiently. Thank you very much, Fitz. Glad to have you here. So if you have a question for me, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question, and it'll be here to find. As always, we stream for charity. Right above my head, there's the charity people. Oh, you know what's been bothering me? This little sliver. Every time I watch one of the recaps, this little sliver bothers me so much. I don't really know how it's possible that it's not all the way across because they're both straight. We're gonna fix it right now. I just noticed it. Charity logo. Unlock. There we go. We did it. Yay. So good. Yeah. So, without further ado, I'm just going to hop right into questions. Alright. Do you guys see people teleporting to end of time to get their specializations early a problem? Will you guys let it be a thing for the future? I think... I don't... No. The short answer is no. It's not a problem. And yes, we plan on allowing it to remain. Personally, I'm very torn on it in general. I think that I am on the side of yes, we should leave it, but it is a difficult decision in my mind. Spike, thanks for the resub. 15 months, going strong. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. All right, mustard or mayo? It depends. It depends. Like, are we making sushi mayo? Are we making brats mustard? You know, like it's really like it depends. All right, for the sentinel shield throw, is there any plans to have a node/item that lets the shield bounce off the player character? It already does. 99% sure it already does. Maybe we tried to and I couldn't get it to work and abandoned it? Maybe that's what's happening. I have a memory of trying to make that work. But I don't know if we'll add it or not if it doesn't. Any thoughts on raising the corruption level expectation for classes from 300 to 600? I think something may have got lost in translation there. I think what I said was I consider a build successful if you can do 300 corruption, and it's just a number really. So like, it doesn't really matter what that number is. I don't think. Is that like there's it's kind of hard to explain, I guess, but maybe it's not hard. Like you've got the number that is the corruption, and how difficult that number is just some arbitrary setting we've created. So like maybe you just want us to crank the difficulty of corruption up instead. That might just be a better way to do it. But if you've got a suggestion you'd like to see something change, hey, Singularity. PSA, this makes you not be able to crit. Read the second line on this idol. But yeah, you can submit to suggestions if you'd like to suggest something. Happy Friday, Mike. Did you guys play any April Fools on each other? Not really. There was one tiny little thing. We had a meeting and there was an announcement that was like a joke announcement. And that was about it. It was a lot of the April Fool's stuff this year got sidelined due to other things happening on April 1st. Do you think there's a possibility for someone who's already finished the story to create a new character and skip through the whole story to avoid doing it all over again? Especially in hardcore, I've done the story so many times for each of my characters who died. We don't plan to do this at the moment. I was shaking my head kind of do this the whole time because like, this question gets asked so often that there's a bajillion answers to it out there. There's longer form versions and FAQs everywhere. What was the decision to make behind losing 100% of the potential stability when you die in an empowered... And losing 100% of the potential stability when you die in an empowered echo when playing in groups. The alternative being maybe a percent-based penalty such as 30 to 50% stability loss per death. Can we expect B costume anytime again? It's all one question. And on a related note, can we... Nope, these are different questions. What was the decision making behind losing 100% of the potential stability when you die in an empowered echo? Whenever you die in... like the death penalties we try and do are always potential penalty losses, so you never lose something that you already have acquired, but you lose things that you could have gotten had you succeeded properly. And that's basically as far as it goes. Can we expect the B costume anytime again? Maybe. I could be talked into that again. It's still behind me. It's kind of mangled because it's been tossed around and shoved into drawers for the last year. First season, any news? Second cycle starting. It's gonna be roughly 3 to 4 months after the first one. And it'll be focused around bosses and we're adding like pinnacle content to the game. I knew more stuff would drop. The single blocker in the center of the idle inventory is such a genius design choice. What did the design process for idle layout shapes look like? Thank you, first of all, because this did take a while. The original version of this was a 4x4 square. It was just 4x4. It was just there, and it was like that for quite a while, actually. The big problem we were seeing is that everyone's idle inventory, all it looked like was just like 4 1x4s or 4 4x1s, and that was it. Every single person's idle inventory looked that way. And we didn't really want to like crank the power of the 1, 2, and 3 size idols up, because we wanted the biggest ones to be the rarest and the most valuable and have the most power and all that sort of stuff. But by doing that, it meant that the 3 all the smaller sizes, also 2x2s, rules before 2x2 people would have, but the other smaller sizes, all of the 2x1, 1x2, 2x3, 1x3, 1x1, all those would basically just only be useful in leveling when you were still unlocking your idle inventory. And as soon as it was unlocked, they were all just completely pointless. So yeah, it really was a, how do we force people to use smaller idols, but still have it feel like you're like optimizing the system and still have it feel like creative and things like that. And that's why we got the corner cutouts and the one in the middle. This way you can have like you can still get some patterns in there. Like you can still do like 4 2x2s and you know, like fill it in with some other one, like you still get some patterns and that like that, but you always get a combination of them. And I think this for me anyways, this harkens all the way back to Diablo 2 in the size and the shape of the inventory space that you had for the idols was very specifically you'd have all your 1x3s and your 1x1s to like fill up that 1x4 size vertical height, and like large idols were basically useless, but you still had there was still a reason to have grand and small idols. Like, there was a reason to have different size idols. Now there's problems with that in the shape of your inventory and all that sort of stuff, and I don't think I can hear notifications from Streamlabs right now, because I just looked over and there's a bunch of stuff happening. So why is none of this playing? Is it playing for any of you? There's cool stuff happening. Well, as I catch up here, thank you very much to Resilient. Oh, Resilient Red Devil. Nice. I'm like, I just see the word Resident Evil in there. I just can't unsee Resident Evil. Resilient Red Devil, thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. 2 months in a row, welcome. And Llama 8B has reset for 25 months. That's a lot. That's a lot. Shield 2 doesn't bounce off the player, but it will bounce off your minions, such as Ring of Shields. That's what I'm thinking of. Right, you can set up the Ring of Shields and it bounces off them. And Mayhem is coming. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. Glad to have you all with us. All right, more questions. I don't know what's going on, but so I've started routing the sound through my headphones that's going through the microphone itself. Like there's a microphone, and it's like if that volume gets up above 5%, it will hurt my ears. I don't know why it's so loud. That was me gingerly increasing it by 1 up to 4. Ho ho. All right, more questions. Is this game going to be a PC exclusive, or have you got any plans to bring the game to other platforms? We do plan to bring the game to other platforms. We don't have an ETA on that, or specifically what platforms it will be. There's some obvious choices. I mean, like we do already have a Linux version, which arguably is just PC. So, potato there. What am I saying? Yeah, there's lots of people are playing it on Steam Deck already. Technically, we're not officially approved on Steam Deck or verified on Steam Deck, but people do use it, and apparently it works pretty well. We were like one of the top played games on Steam Deck in March, which was wild, considering we don't even have the little tick mark. But it's cool. So yeah, there's different platforms and different barriers to entry to expand into them, and like player count, like requests we get for it, difficulty to do it. All these things will play a factor in us deciding which ones we go to first and which ones we delay a little bit and keep going to after. But yeah, we do plan to expand eventually into other platforms. It's gonna be a little while though, so like, I wouldn't if you're like, I really want to play, but I am not sure if I want to wait for a different version, like come out on PlayStation or something like that. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be quite a while before anything like that happens. So if you're itching for it and you've got the PC to run it, my advice would be get it on PC. But if not, and you just want to one day play, yeah, one day. Any thoughts on continuing character progression past level 100? Yes, this has been kind of a weird topic for us. We had originally planned on having the factions be something that continued to level past level 100. It's like something that you need to keep doing past level 100. So like in the beta of in the closed beta for factions, you reached rank 8 around the time you reached level 100. If you were just playing exclusively on that one. And it did not have great feedback on it. So we dropped the required level to access it to be about 100, I think. So like 100 was rank 10 roughly. and it was still a lot of like, it takes way too long, it takes way too long. And so it's an interesting thing. At the same time, amidst calls for continued leveling past level 100, likely. So we don't really view level 100 as a expected milestone for many characters. It's something that does happen every once in a while, but the vast majority of characters are very unlikely to ever hit level 100. And that's a bit of a break from tradition from some games that are similar, which is sometimes a little tricky to like conceptually reconcile, I guess. Should just take this back, shouldn't it? Did I do the wrong one? Ah, I did the wrong one. What was the document? Oh yeah, so we're still looking at ways to have alternate systems that don't really care about experience. Currently, like your gear is something that continues to improve after 100 anyway. So like there's still character progression post 100. We are looking at extending the time to 100 in the extremely late levels, so like 98, 99, 100. Getting those wheel a touch longer, but I think is the plan. We're still up in the air on that one.
That was close.
It's meant to be like a holy crap, you got to 100, wow, cool. Not like, oh, your character starts at 100, like definitely not that. All right, will our alts ever catch up method? Will our alts ever get a catch-up method to catch up to our main corruption level? We have a mechanic to address the feedback on this axis that we are preparing at the moment. I am attempting to say this as vague as possible, and I cannot provide any more information at this time. Sorry. It's still in like early feedback and testing. In case things get wildly changed between now and implement and proper like release. I don't want to be like, this is happening, and then it just changed horribly. Oh, some good tea. Peppermint tea, a little honey. There's like a little bee farm near us. We get honey from there sometimes. So.
Right.
It's one of those things as well that's like,
I'd still be in the dreadnought.
I guess because it's like all they do, it's actually kind of the same price or cheaper than the grocery store, which is nice. All right, love the game. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing the future of it. My question, can we please get an option to turn up, down companion sounds? We can turn the scrolls way down, please. Thanks. Yeah. Maybe. Drop it in the suggestions, forums, and threads and places that we collect suggestions. All right. Thank you for your time. Welcome. And doing these streams. Any plans on fleshing out the alt leveling path? The dungeon progression is very fun, but it feels unfinished. Yeah, it is unfinished. There's like we need more dungeons. There's none coming in 1.1, but we do need more dungeons. Both for just having a more varied take on leveling paths, where you can say like there's like a dozen viable options, and depending on like what type of character you're running, different ones are easier to do. I'd also still really like to address the way you access and difficulty of the first tier of dungeons. But yeah, it is something we're still looking at. The core vibe of alt leveling paths is not planned to have major changes. Possibly an option to copy online characters offline. We have no plans of doing this. There's a note not asking for the layer. I understand the request. We have no plans of doing this right now. And just to clear up, it is not as simple as we'll just save it. They use different file formats. And they save different data too. It is possible, but it's it's a design reason we're not doing it, not strictly just that can we do it. My back is so itchy right now. There's a tag. All right. When will key bindings be fully working? I want to bind Y button to the traversal skill, but it's permanently mapped to minion control. There's some things that we've locked. I don't know if we have a plan to unlock them just yet. But there's a few things that were like, this has to kind of be there. Or there's some more... Certain commands work differently in the game, and unfortunately it ends up in situations where some keys are not remappable. Ideally, all of them would be. Right now, totems are enable to acknowledge enemies that spawned after the totem was spawned. It's really not fun wondering if totem is going to do its thing every time a new wave of enemy shows up. Is it a deliberate game choice, or can we expect it to change? It's a bug. If you think something might be a bug, just report it as a bug, please. Alright, what is your least favorite thing about Last Epoch? We don't have weapon swap. I'm just gonna keep saying that every time. I know it's never gonna happen, but I want it. Is there some plans for improving throwing builds? Like a flat throwing damage with shield throw, javelin, etc., not proximate. I don't have any details on potential upcoming balance changes. Level 1 echo scaling to bypass the campaign ever been discussed? Level 1 echo scaling to bypass the campaign. I mean, it's... Oh, like an adventure mode in the monolith. It's been discussed hundreds of times and has been rejected hundreds of times. Alright, any plans on making loot filters show icons for what's filtered and not just uniques? And also any consideration on making obsidian resonances easier to obtain? No and no. I'm just going to keep saying, if you have suggestions you'd like to see considered, please put them in the suggestions channels. I don't write anything down from stream. Alright. Building off of throwing question, can you say if there's any pure throwing mastery considered for rogue? Feels like it's asking for a ninja style mastery. I mean, if the falconer is like definitely the throwing centric mastery on rogue. I feel like if we made a new pure throwing mastery on rogue, it would step on falconer's heels quite a lot. Not really. I mean, you never know. Insert generic line about telling you to go put suggestions in the suggestions channel. Should just make like a little banner at the top of the screen. All right, hey Mike, you should stream more. Thanks. I like working on the game, and streaming takes me away from that, so I'm gonna keep just doing limited streams. Also, did you try the new PoE League? Yes, I am playing the new PoE League. I'm playing it hyper casual. I haven't played a PoE League in at least a year. Like properly played in at least 2 years now. I'm going in completely blind, and like so I'm like reading lore slow. Okay, like we are creeping along. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. All right. Hi. I don't know if this is addressed before, but here goes. Do you have plans to add some more in-game content with leaderboards? Yes, we do. Next patch will be primarily focused around pinnacle bosses. The leaderboard section of that is still up in the air. We are we want to add more leaderboards. We don't have any specific details on what those leaderboards will be yet. or where they will show up. But there's a good chance at some point we do add more leaderboards, likely focused somewhere around like corruption scaling or like time to kill bosses, things like that. You know, but so it's still up in the air a bit. But yeah, we do plan on adding those. Do you know if or when we can expect more controller support and options? We're always making minor changes to the controllers and updating those and improving them. So next patch. I don't know what's coming with it, but every patch has some controller stuff added to it. So mini traversal affix is bugged again. Okay. Make a bug report, please. Should we expect fourth masteries or rather new classes first? Fourth masteries would be before new classes, because fourth masteries we can do individual ones. Like we could do one mastery. We could add a fourth mage mastery, and then we would have like 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, and that would be fine. So we can add in another mastery at the same time as doing other stuff a lot easier. But if we add in a whole new base class and 3 masteries with it, that's a gigantic undertaking, time-wise, and not exactly a conducive to adding other stuff at the same time.
I can from you. The heart of the citadel is beyond.
I'm glad. We can't all. I'm too. When he fled, I saw him heading deeper into the mountains. When you
Deeper into the mountains.
you could take a peek at his nest.
Thoughts about potentially having XP events in the future, for example, X% increased or weakened for a weekend or something. I'm not huge on doing things like that. I don't know. It's possible. I don't think we've talked about it or anything like that. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'd be torn on it in general. The system's gonna kick me as I was waiting. I just noticed that. Just turn on chat though. Any plans to show cosmetics on the character selection screen? Yeah. It did for a while, actually, and I don't know why it doesn't. But I hope it comes back. Outcome, the crafting outcome in the crafting panel doesn't show the stat change, only the fortune potential used. Yeah, there was a bug that came in when there was a UI update that happened on the fortune panel. And there's a bug now that makes it not show that anymore, because it used to show that. Why you're asking? Because you know it used to show that. I don't know when that's going to be coming back, but it is hopefully coming back, because it is important. Are you guys thinking of telling us the story of Weaver's Will and how the items got forged? Yes. Big foreshadowing. Ooh. Is it realistic to think that the future Pinnacle content will involve Titans? Titans. Dun dun. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, the Spriggan and Lightless Arbor always says they're dead, but we travel in time, don't we? Yeah, we do. I am the worst person to talk to about any sort of story-related stuff at all, which is why I have asked Kyle to come back on for another lore stream coming up, but I don't have details on that I can share. But I know we like to plant. This is me just speculating because I know we like these things. We like to plant. I know that they like to plant seeds for things to come. So I'd be shocked if that spring in dialogue was not intentional. This is player Mike speculating. Will Merchants Guild get more search options? Yes. There's a couple things we're trying to get in right away. There's a couple things that we can't get in right away because we need some architecture changes to make them work. But we are working on those as well. In the future, do you guys put more void type class masters? Possible. It is a very clear gap in the design space for classes that are available right now. Let me in! Here's a cool one if you've never seen it before. The numbers on this item. What? It's not working. That's frustrating. Okay, well, the numbers on this item follow a very intentional pattern. The first 3 digits are cut out, but 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, and 144 in the gold cost. That's how petals are arranged in a flower. Alright. Hey Mike, have you considered deleting 4 charts so people stop asking about it? This doesn't count for bingo, Aaron. Yes, it does count. No, we haven't. How often can we expect to see new gear added, like new uniques? We add new uniques every major patch. So you'll see some more coming every major patch. Trying to get up to this. At least 1 point there. Drop some stuff off the bank. Just look and see if these are any good. That idol is having an identity crisis. Alright, any chance of making the monsters a little less spammy with their skills? There's barely any time to deal damage while consistently dodging or face tanking. No. It's one of those things like they're monsters that are trying to kill you, right? Like they're gonna do what they can to get you. You're doing what you can to get them. They're gonna do what they can to get you. I think if they were like significantly less using their skills, I think it would probably remove some of the sense of urgency, which I think is important. Is dynamic DPS boss health scaling real? I saw it mentioned on stream, was curious how it works or if it's real. Saw this in a review. Well, is it in here? Am I gonna look like an idiot if I bring this up? Probably. Oh, please tell me it's in here. Not even in here. Oh, that's frustrating. Should be in there. It is real. There's dozens of official sources that talk about it. It's hopefully not a matter of speculation. It is definitely real. If you want to learn more about it in order to be more efficient in your boss kills, I can tell you everything you need to know right now about how to kill a boss as fast as possible. Kill the boss as fast as possible. That's it. There is literally no way to modify your behavior to gain an advantage in the system. The faster you kill the boss, the faster you kill the boss. Period. As for... I always forget to break that. Having said all that, the system is quite frustrating to a lot of people and is not achieving the goals we wanted to achieve properly. And we are removing it. Well, I shouldn't say remove. We're replacing it with another system that will hopefully achieve those goals better. One that actually will have some counterplay to it. And one that will be blatantly obvious what's happening. Trying to sneak around behind me? Not today. How far are we on these to be? Two more. Will we get to fight the Weaver? Maybe? Not next patch. Will the new pinnacle bosses have phases, or can it be one shot? I don't know if those are mutually exclusive. Like Lagan has phases and can be one shot. The tippy top pinnacle boss will have phases, but like, I'm not gonna tell you anything else. it's gonna be a sweet fight. Where I was working on it this morning, making some new tech for it. Some counterplay action in there. Outplay opportunities, is that what it's called? I was really a big fan of, and this is just not directly related to what I was saying, so it's not a clue or anything, but I'm reminded of when I just said outplay opportunities. I really enjoyed playing Guild Wars 1 as a Mesmer because it had so many counter spells and interrupts, and that like that always felt really good when you like when you hit, because you had to wait for the cast to start and you had to like time it properly, and it always felt really good when you actually nailed it. Get back here! Oh my god! God damn it! Stop! At least it went near the exit. Any plans to add unique runes, affixes, and suffix shards, runes that are a part, say, of pinnacle content? No. Maybe? I don't think so. Like we do plan to add more of those things, but I don't think, I don't know. I don't think there's any that are related to the pinnacle content coming. Yeah, I don't think so. Got other cool stuff, don't worry. This is a time traveling story. It is. It's pretty cool, right? Is there anything in the time traveling mechanic that would prohibit fighting your own future past selves? preferably past, so that we can get the loot drops of what we're wearing. We don't have any, not directly, no. We kind of try to evoke that style of feeling, like you never cross your own path, but you cross other people's paths that have, that were players effectively. So like, for example, the Forgotten Knight, was a player character. The exiled mages were basically like player characters. The enemies at the end of the limited arena runs, were like kind of supposed to feel like player characters, that like the straight type thing. So yeah, we try and bring that feeling in. Actually fighting your own player character at like an earlier time or a later time, gets messy to say the least. So I don't think we have any plans for that. It would be kind of cool. I don't know how you'd like generate the gear. So like you always get the same gear, or like getting your future gear. Like how would you know what you're gonna be wearing in the future? You know, like how does that affect like the timeline of your character and all these things? We try and bring that feeling in without getting too, let's see. At this point after release, are you realizing that you have similar issues to competitor dev teams? Or do you feel like 11th Hour solved what you set out to solve, and you do it all better? We definitely didn't solve everything we set out to solve, and we definitely don't do everything better. That's I think there's certain things that like, if you're gonna look at like the other RPGs in the market, I think there's certain things that each of us have as strengths, which I think is really good. We die, please. Thank you.
Now's our chance. Lance.
I think that there are there's a couple things that we solved really nicely that I'm really happy with, or that we're in the process of solving. I think it should be a better way of putting it.
Oh God,
Yeah.
where am I now?
I say that and like I'm immediately like solve's kind of like a dirty word almost in a situation like this, because like
Easy, too easy.
it kind of implies that the development process finishes, like it's like closing a door, like it's solved, and I don't like that idea. So maybe improved would be a better word to put there. And I hope someday someone comes along and looks at Epoch and goes, we can improve that, and they make something even better. But like, let's give it 10 years, come on, right? All right, will we ever be able to add sounds to the loot filter? Maybe we've talked about this many times. We don't have a good clean way to do it right now. Any plans to introduce a way to restore forging potential? No. I know this game just released, but is the possibility of expansions far in the future, or will it just be based on cycles? The primary plan we have right now is to keep it cycle based, specifically because we really don't want to be in a situation where like expansion, like, okay, so you and your buddies, maybe a couple of them have like stopped playing and they've gone to other things, and this new expansion comes out, and a couple of you buy the expansion, And then you're like, oh, come out, the expansion's so good, hop back in. And they're like, I don't know if I want to buy the expansion to come back and play or not. But they come back and like, I'll try out, see what's going on. And then they're like, oh, you don't have the expansion, you can't do the thing we want to do, so you can't play with us. And it like splits the community, and it's just frustrating. So we don't have plans for that right now. We want to get this up to 5. But I mean, like, it depends. Like, if an expansion makes a ton of sense to do at some point, it's not impossible. But we don't have plans for it. If something pretty dramatic would have to change. We just don't like fixing things like that too firmly. Will 1.1 bring new supporter packs? I don't think so. Any plans to include full armor sets in those? Will our pets ever gain any form of ability, or will they remain strictly cosmetic? We have no intention of ever adding mechanics to pets, to mini pets. In the event that we ever did add mechanics to the mini pets, we would everyone would get a free pet that had the same mechanics. Just in case, we would release some new pet that like every single account just got for free, just to make sure everyone had a pet. And there would be no way. This is a really important thing. That every time this question gets brought up, I have to make sure it's clear. We're not going to add pay for convenience factors into the game, where say like hypothetically pets can pick up gold, but you can only have a pet if you pay $5 or more. No, we're not doing that. Any plans to add exiles of other classes other than mages? The way the story, yes and no. The way the story of how the exiled mages are where they are and why they are where they are and all that sort of stuff only works for mages. It doesn't work for any other class. So we're not going to add exiled rogues in a rune prison the same way. Like we're not doing that. Is there any chance we come up with a different mechanic and reason and way to have other enemies spawn randomly like that? Yeah, sure. Will they maybe possibly be other classes? Yeah, sure, maybe. Yeah, we still plan to add more. I guess like the crux of the question is, we do still plan to add more unexpected content to the game in the similar vein to exile mages, like treasure goblins, things like that, to the game. But we don't have any. We're not just taking the exile mages and slapping a fresh coat of paint on them with rogues or whatever, pushing them back out the door again. All right. Any plan on improving the brain of the Wraith Lord so it's not just randomly flying around? I think someone reported a bug recently on this. If you think you found a bug, please report the bug. Has there been any new thoughts on adaptive boss events? I talked a ton about this a minute ago. The recap, I guess, is the system is being replaced with a similar system, or a system that aims to achieve the same thing in a different way. But days of the hidden boss DR and damage numbers shrinking arbitrarily, seemingly, are going to be going away. All right. When are we finding the Immortal Emperor? When are we finding the Immortal Emperor in the Divine Era? I have no information on upcoming story stuff like that. Mostly because I just don't know. Will we be able to befriend Julra in the Temporal Sanctum? That'd be cool. I always feel bad slaying her when she's just being chilling in her bedroom. Yeah, that'd be funny. I think she's a little He's just a little angry. I don't know if there's charisma modifier high enough to initiate that. From a certain stage in the game, we drop really many T6. Have you considered replacing the quantity by quality? Like more T7 or T6 with more forging potential. I mean, they already
Go north. Retrieve the love.
Put your weapon and did find one here.
they already get more forging potential than non exalted items. Like the quality is already there. I don't think we have plans to increase the quality anymore. Does this activate from anywhere now? I'm pretty sure it does.
We don't have much alarm. You will speak to they will reveal the path to Herot's temple.
It's okay. I read really quick.
Yes.
Oh my god, my notifications are fully just like off. Oh no. Because you guys aren't here in the middle, are you? Let me try and replay some of these. Did that come through and I just like didn't hear it? Here's another one. Thank you very much to both of you. Everil91, 10 months in a row. Beep beep. And swerve on your ends. Swerve on your ends. I feel like there's probably some capitalization that makes it easier, but thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate having you here. I don't know how those aren't coming through. More questions. Alerts are not working. I'm not losing my mind. Woohoo! Wait, no, I like losing my mind. Oh no. In the future, we have new elements for spell. Example: Shadow Strike, Fire. Thanks. We don't have every. We limit the elements in which an ability can be converted into very carefully and very intentionally. We don't like the idea of just having, hey, every ability is convertible to every other element type thing. However, we do know that element conversions are a really great way to expand the reach of any given ability and open up some new options. So it is the sort of thing that we do look for down the road. It's also a bit of a dev time intensive type of node to add as well. Like if we're gonna like put the development time as a cost in making something, it's they are often some of the more expensive nodes. Oh. There we go. On top of that, so we have, I go over this many times, frequently on stream. There's every class has primary elements and secondary elements and niche elements, as you call them. And we generally don't put conversions that are in primary or secondary. We usually reserve them for items. Fire is a primary element for Spellblade. Shadow Strike not being convertible to fire. Catching the thread here. I'm coming back around. You already have two fire melee abilities in Flame Reef and Firebrand, and having a third it's a lot of fire melee abilities So in order to kind of keep those having their own unique place in the world, I think is why we probably haven't put Fire Shadowstrike in the game yet. That's not to say it won't ever be put in the game. Have you played or watched the current PTR for D2 or D4 PTR for Season 4? If so, thoughts? I haven't watched anything about that yet. I find... I wanted to let the dust settle a little bit after the PTR was finished and they had a chance to act on the feedback and see what was actually coming to the game. I wanted to see that before I really dove in too deep. I've looked at some of the like I know that the major things that are changing and the broad picture feature changes and stuff like that, but I haven't like read through all the patch notes individually myself yet. I'm gonna save that for the actual patch. Looks like there's a texture. Something's wrong there. It's weird. Our experimental affix is going to rotate. Like some stay as regular, some go to new ones appear. Maybe on different slots. I don't think there's any plans to that. I think it would be unlikely. What are we doing here? Here. What? Did I go the wrong way? It's okay. You shall explore back this way. Can we expect items or reworks for improving weaker Masters builds like Forge Guard Shield Throw comes to mind? There you go, Aaron. So it's a confirmation. We do like to look at underperforming and overperforming items and skills and all sorts of things frequently. I don't have any specific details on individual potential upcoming balance changes for next patch. Will there be improvements and additions to the loot field system? Yes. There's a few things. Is that spawned outside of the reachable area? No. Give me my ice beetle. It's okay, beetle. I'll come back. Let's go. Thank you. My best beetle. That's all I got. Any plans to lessen the randomness of legendary items so we can control what gets added? We don't have any plans for that right now. I mean, it's not impossible, but it changes the like chance of getting X legendary item quite a bit. I don't know. It's possible. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any internal suggestions or discussions on it. If you have a suggestion, go to the suggestions forums. Drop one there, please. Will we have voice packs in the future? I'd love to see a Queen Hive voice for the Swarmblade form, like Zergish Kerrigan. That would be really cool. I think that would be something we would just add. Not really be a pack to buy, but I don't know if anyone's working on that right now. I really hope so. That'd be sweet. We're gonna go back into the monolith here pretty quick. I just wanted to get these done. We're so close. See my idle slots.
The hunt.
When do you expect to have Steam achievements for the game? It's gonna be a while. Any plans to tweak RNG involved with crafting? No. I feel like it's way too easy to brick items, especially for casual players like myself. I think the ability to readily see so many amazingly lucky crafted items and not see all of the bricked items that went into making those amazing items can help to set unreasonable expectations on how easy or difficult it is in your mind. To be frank, I think the crafting system is incredibly forgiving. And yeah, I like we have no plans to make it harder, but I think it's incredibly forgiving. Yeah. I was preparing potions for that fight because usually it takes a long time. The RNG also, I should mention this with crafting RNG, it is actually more on your side than it appears. This is something we've talked about lots before, but the when it says like you'll lose like this forge is going to take between 1 and 15 forging potential to do this thing. The way it works is there's a small chance for you to get a lucky craft, and if you get a lucky craft, it then re-rolls the range from your first roll as the new maximum. So if you you roll between 1 and 15 and you roll a 6, it's like it's gonna eat 6 forging potential, and he's like, oh, it's medium, it's fine, whatever. But then you get lucky and you roll a lucky craft. It then re-rolls again with a range 1 to 6. So the average amount you're going to pay for forging potential for an item is actually less than the average of the range that you see listed. So there is that tiny little extra RNG for you right there. All right. Is there plans to allow us to move tabs in the quick view window while in stash? Not specifically, but we did just make some changes that might make that possible. It's something that I really wanted to do for a long time. How do you feel about D4 getting inspired by LE, like with Exalted Affixes? I think it's a good thing to be able to positively influence other games in the genre. So if that did come from us, I think that's really cool. I think that's I'd be really proud to have had an influence like that on Diablo 4 if that's the case. I'm still not convinced it was. I don't know. It's possible. Either way, it's pretty cool. Whether it's coincidence or an influence, I think it's pretty neat. We can just warp out of here, and I don't know why I'm still fighting things.
Yes.
Yeah. One more.
Gods be with you.
Not happening.
Come on, let me dash in town.
Yes?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know where I assume he got it from me after I just said it like that. My son said the other day, he was like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, good job. It was adorable.
Not happening.
Okay. We're going back to monoliths. We don't really care what else happens. Do we try for one of the 90s? Yeah, let's try for one of the 90s. What's the worst that could happen, right? Will you improve multiplayer experience? Yes. As of now, it's a bit, well, awful, sorry to say. Love the game, though. Yep, we are constantly working on it. There's... I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about the stuff we're working on specifically, but we're definitely working on big changes for that. I will have some effect on overall multiplayer performance. It's hard to tell the test servers because there's so less less of a load on them. They're naturally just a little bit faster. But our most recent test was really promising. Hey, not bad. So I'm hoping most of that test was the changes made and not just the difference between live and staging. This is much more challenging, but still very much in our wheelhouse. Did I pick an enemies get marked for death? Echo? Is Mike a big dum-dum? Answers to this and more after this commercial break. A player's been ambushed. Who? Okay, more stuff. More questions. What skills would you which skills would you love to entirely rework? No budget constraints. Ooh. I would like to, and it's okay. I'm gonna cheat in the question because I don't want to rework the skill. The no budget constraints means I'd like to implement the skill the way it is written, and everyone assumes it is before they realize it's not. Sadly, I would want to change manifest armor and forged weapons and all of the forge guard abilities that manifest copies of your gear to actually manifest copies of your gear that had the actual abilities of your gear. Oh, sorry about that. Came out of nowhere. I was right in the mic. I'm so sorry. I'd like to have that done. It wouldn't need to change the trees that much at all. Like, the trees actually are pretty decent. I just want to make uniques work with them. But that's just such a humongous undertaking. I don't even know where to start with that. What is your main role in the dev team? What do you mostly work on? Well, big skill problems like that I just was describing. Yeah, right now I'm mostly skill bugs. I'm part of the design team as well. I've done a lot of UI development in the past. I'm trying to hand that off more and more. That's why there's a job posting up right now for a senior UI developer, I think. Take half of my responsibilities away from me. Yes. More so just have a dedicated person on it that someone goes, I don't even know how to fix this UI problem, or who do we talk to about this UI thing? It's not like, well, there's these 4 people that have worked on UI, and this one worked on this part of the UI, and this one worked on that part. It's just, here's the person who runs the UI. From a dev perspective, not a design perspective. We got that in spades. What up, Russ? What is the most interesting ability that was floated for a game that didn't make it to live? Can you talk a little bit about why it was interesting and why it didn't go live? Oh, I don't have any good examples off the top of my head at all. Some of the Rune Master pitches were pretty interesting. We didn't want to do anything too complicated there. Ooh. Abyssal Soul Harvester of Conflagration. Likely not good for me. What? Potion, come on. You know you love potions. Any better potion rate? So bad. This is tricky. This might be a little too hard for me. I'm just gonna acquire some potion stockpile before we do this. It's like the worst thing possible to do. Whatever though. Good things that I'm forgetting about that were interesting, we couldn't do. It's too much work. There was some minion focused Rune Masters that would have been really interesting and cool, but they would have been so complicated. There was one concept that basically had you casting everything from like a minion, almost like a familiar. Really great for us, but that's okay. There were some cool ideas for volatile reversal that I still want to do, so I kind of don't want to show what they were. So that's gonna need some rework. It's like it is really good, and it is really fun to use, but it's too universally useful. The utility is just so universally awesome that I think it needs some of its power hidden in the top half of the Void Knight tree, specifically so that, or through some other method of like Void Knight restriction. So it's like anyone can use it. It's still really good for anyone, but it's like it's amazing on Void Knight. It's good on everyone else. Is one thing I think would be really healthy for Sentinel as a master or as a base class overall. And then I'd like to see it have more intentionality to it, more setup, more planning involved. I think would be a useful thing for it. Can't remember what the question was. I'm just rambling about skill changes I want now. I'll look over and answer another one, I promise. Just let me. Oh yeah. Oh, so good. Oh, totally super useful for my build. Definitely, so good. Slow. Whatever. Is there still a rework of the shaman in progress? As I said for a long time ago, I don't like this term rework really for shaman. we are still actively updating and making changes to it. I think might be the best way to put that. But the core themes and most of the skills won't have their primary functions dramatically altered, I don't think. It's missing a skill. It's missing some nice interactions. It's got a couple strong bugs still. You know, there's just like a few little things that need to come into place, and then like an extra skill that gets slapped in there. I think it's well on its way. Our skills that are bow, attack, and melee. Our skills that are bow, attack, and melee benefit from passive nodes that only state bow, attack, or melee. Or is it while that skill is performing as a bow attack, it only benefits from passives that state bow attacks and not melee? Yeah. So when you have when you put an ability like puncture on your bar, this, because I have a melee weapon equipped, this is always a melee attack, and it does not get benefits from bow anything right now. If I were to equip a bow, it is always a bow attack and doesn't get any benefits from melee anything. It does a full sale swap. I don't. The tooltip doesn't update nicely, unfortunately. I wonder if we can do that. Be interesting to look into. Have it check what you're wearing. Yeah, I might be able to do that. Not sure. Right. Any plans to allow COF players to target farm boss drops like Prophecy with increased chance for a boss to drop rare items or duplicate boss drops? I don't think there's any plans for the Prophecies to affect boss drops at the moment. But I'm not sure on that. I may have just like missed that or something. Mana issues. This is called frantically attempting not to die. And somehow succeeding. Alright. Is there an ETA for when we can expect to receive digital soundtrack from the Ultimate Edition? This is me going to look and make sure it's not already there in Steam. It is not there already. Surprising. I do not know when that's coming. Sorry. I'm surprised it's not there already though. Word on potion use and lightning damage. We don't do war. We don't do potion. We don't use our potions, and we don't do lightning damage. On the topic of legendary crafting, are there any plans to let us shatter the ones we brick? No. I do think there's room for interesting, or for something to happen in that space. We don't have any plans for it at the moment. I guess I just also want to mention, if I say like we don't have any plans for something, it doesn't mean we can't have plans for something. If you want to see it, go leave a suggestion in the suggestions forums. You never know. Because we do read the suggestions forums, and we take suggestions from the suggestions forums and talk about them in design meetings. But we don't take suggestions from here. But yeah, there's like any time you end up with a byproduct of a failed crafting experiment, I think it's reasonable to have some sort of mechanical outlet for that to try and recoup some of the cost, or at least gain some sort of secondary benefit from it. Like just selling it for gold is the most basic form of that, and is so underwhelming it almost feels like it doesn't exist. It almost feels like a good like dungeon reward or something, or I don't know, like a new crafting material maybe. That's problematic, but yeah. Having those built into legendary potential and other uniques is a pretty firm no, though. Any possibility of tweaking the legendary crafting for LP3 and LP4 items to prioritize including at least one exalted stat? I mean, anything's possible, but no. It doesn't feel good to finally get an extremely rare LP3 item, finally get a compatible exalted item, then have the Eternity Cache pull every stat except the exalted stat. Yeah, it's like I can understand the frustration there. I've I've rolled enough CTAs in my day to know that frustration. But I think it's important that it's not a guarantee, and like there is an element of risk and reward to it. Maybe it's too much, maybe it's too little, I don't know, but you already have like a 3 out of 4 chance of getting it, so like it's a pretty high rate. Hi, hello, how you doing? Good job on making the game, thanks. Spent some nice 200 hours on it, awesome. I have no regrets. Any plans to release some sort of roadmap? Roadmaps are so tricky. I'd really like to. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. I'd really like to release a roadmap of some sort. We've done it a few different times, and we've kind of had issues with it every time. And I'm not sure how to do a roadmap that effectively communicates what we want it to communicate and doesn't leave room for players to make up their own things for it to communicate. I guess it's the best way to put it. Like we've put things in roadmaps and like not included something else, and suddenly the fact that we didn't include something in a roadmap means we're planning, like we're forbidding for it to ever happen in the game. Or we add it to the like a roadmap, we say like, and a distant thing we're considering is this, and it means it's coming next patch. And it's like there's so many misconceptions that come from roadmaps that I think it's possible that they might do more harm than good in some cases. But it is really nice to have that information available. I think we kind of need to find a way to do it. I don't know if we have any active plans or development along those lines right now. It's a big boy. Got him. Boom, 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 boom. Wow. Can we get the ice beetle as a minion in a future class? It's cute as heck. It is pretty cute. This actually came up yesterday in Ask the Devs, I think. I think I wouldn't. I'm against doing this. And or if we do it, we need to remove it from the shrines. I don't think that it's a good idea to have a player summonable minion as also a shrine summonable minion. I think it needs to be one or the other. So if we ever did pull the ice beetle onto the player, we would need to put something else in the shrine. I really like the way the ice beetle functions in the game. I think it's such a I think it's a really mechanically interesting bonus to have, because in a lot of cases, I think freeze is a really uncommon mechanic to run, and it has such a high freeze rate that it changes the dynamic of combat for a little while, and I think that's really interesting. And I wish we had more shrines that really change the dynamic of combat more. So yeah. I will. Oh yeah, half an hour left. Oh, it's flying by here. Yeah, we'll keep going. Questions. What is the most important things you guys want LE to differ from most from PoE? We so rarely look at this and say, like, okay, how can we make this different than PoE? That's almost never a conversation we have. Kind of the only time that comes up is if we've like accidentally developed something that's so similar that we're like, yeah, we gotta differentiate this a little bit somehow. It's only happened once, but like we're kind of we try and keep ourselves concentrated on our own game and not on what other people are doing. Yeah. Just dropping keys left and right. Wants me to go do dungeons. Ice Beetle boy. What? Oh, there it is. Okay. Thought it didn't give it to me for a second. I was like, got a problem. It needs a better icon though. Also, it's gonna vanish by the time we actually get to anything to fight, I think. Ice Beetle, do your thing! Activate Ice Beetle! Yes!
That was close.
It froze something, I saw it.
Might have to drop something.
I don't want to drop something. Alright, did you think about to hide LP number? Would be nice for crafting without knowing how many LP has item. Okay. Oh, so like you find a unique and it just says has legendary potential, but it doesn't say like how much legendary potential it has. So you kind of just slap it in and hope for the best. I don't think that would be a popular change. But if you'd like to leave a suggestion, please head on over to the forums and drop it there. Speaking of dashing in town, why is it that you can't use abilities in town in offline but not online? Or you can use them offline, you can't use them online. Performance server issues. It's like if you could use abilities in town, the servers would crash and burn very, very quickly. We confirmed this many times. Lots of good stuff up there. Oh yeah. So glad that icon got changed. This one. We're gonna go up. We're gonna do it. Hello, hi. I really enjoy. I just realized. Oh, random name X. That's a 20-month sub right there. Thank you very much, Lee. Just gonna do these manually because I don't know why it's not working automatically. Volume's on, it's set to play, the filters are set right. I don't know why it's not working. I think I turned it off last time because it was going nuts, and I just like, it doesn't want to come back. We'll figure it out. Hello, I really enjoy LE, and it's a great game. Thank you very much. Will we get new unique idols for every class and sets? Or does some sets get buffed? Unique idols are quite rare for us to add. It's kind of a special thing to have a unique idol, but it is space that we do want to explore more. And just had to get a little bit of blue out of there. As for set items, we do have a slightly longer term plan for set items to be to have a shift in their place in the gearing world. They need a little bit. They need a new mechanic to go with them overall, in order to have them fit into your gearing ecosystem nicely. So we're still working on that. We've got something planned. It's not implemented yet. Once it's done and dusted, we can talk about all that sort of stuff. But we are working on sets. We know they're not awesome. They will be awesome. I know there's a healthy and heavy skepticism around the possibility that sets can be done well, and maybe our idea doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, we may have to pivot, we may have to remove it. I don't know what's going to happen. We've even made some pseudo sets already because we didn't like the way sets were going. The mountain set, for example, should have done the transfer first instead of avoiding those. All right, 10-minute warning on taking questions. So if your question's not in the next 10 minutes, we are not answering it. Oh my goodness, that's what happens when your hand is in the wrong spot of the keyboard. This is what happens when you're bad at the game. Oh, I heard that one. I heard that one. Yeah. Gideon X. Gideon 9. Gideon 933. Gideon 933. Thank you very much. Oh, it's a gifted sub. For Tito Londo. Thank you very much. Glad to have y'all with us. Perfect test. Alright. We will be able to make ally out of big bosses from different timelines? Question mark? Not really. I don't think so. I mean, that's a cool idea. Play the suggestions clip. It would be cool if an influent character, like an influential character, would come and help us, like in Hades, in a form of a boon or a form of a more direct way. Oh, like you got Heorot's blessing, and you're fighting Lagon, and Heorot shows up to like help you for a second. Yeah, that would be really cool. I haven't heard anything like that planned. That's an exalted belt. Has not what I want on it. Dang it. I'm really on the lookout for a good belt right now. Any thoughts on adding a unique to Tornado that allows tornadoes to combine into one giant single one? Don't we have that on the tree? Like cast 10 and it merges into one? Oh, like 10 active ones? I mean, I haven't seen anything like that, but if you'd like to leave a suggestion, head on over to the forums. It doesn't work. Having skills interact with other skills after the fact is really difficult to do. And if they move, it's so much harder. So you may notice that just in 1.0 for the first time we actually had skills that can interact with each other. It's a very new thing, and caused all sorts of problems. And with the like dive bomb interacting with smoke bomb and something else too with decoy, where it like detonates decoy. That one worked better. But yeah, it's having skills interacting with other skills is something we've always wanted to do. One of the very early concepts for the game was being able to do like cross-class interactions. For example, like the one that was pitched really early on, we never did, was like being able to shoot a fireball, like a mage and a druid, and the mage or the druid like casts tornado, and then the mage like shoots fireball at the tornado, and the tornado becomes fire tornado. It's how you got the fire tornado node, actually. Which is the like prime example of an off-class primary element conversion in a tree. It's a remnant from a failed mechanic. Any plans for the bots in chat promoting their sites? Asking earlier, not sure if it skipped over or not. We delete so many messages and prevent so many more from even coming in the first place. You're seeing a teeny fraction of the messages that get sent regarding gold spam. It's insane. I hope if anyone out there runs a gold selling website and you're watching this, please stop. It sucks. That won't do anything. Do you guys consider other engines such as Unreal as opposed to Unity? Yes, we did. The timeline on the game's development made Unity the pretty obvious choice. I frequently get the question like, if you go back, would you do something different? No, I wouldn't do something different. And do I think Unreal would be better at certain things than others for us? Yes, definitely. I don't think the game would have gotten this far if we'd picked Unreal.
Easy. Too easy.
So I'm very happy with our choice. I would not have changed it. But we did consider other things. Stop taking questions. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. No more questions. Question cut off. That, we're going to do that. Roofy, is there plans for an idle crafting system? I'm going to answer this question right now. This is the last question I'm answering. Everything before this I'll answer. Everything after I'm not answering. So is there plans for an idle crafting system? We don't have any active plans in development for it, but I'd really love to have one. And I think there's a good chance it will be something we add down the line. It's one of those like axes of character progression and mechanical stuff that we've intentionally left bare so that we can add it in the future. All right, so no more questions, but I will answer all the ones that there's still a bunch that I haven't answered between the last one I answered and the one that I just answered. So I will be answering those. Don't worry. All right. I know you're going to introduce some character creation. Will that also include female, male for every class? We do have plans for a character customization system, whereby you'll be able to customize the appearance of your character. We do plan on including body type as one of those options. This is not a soon thing. This is not something people are actively working on developing inside the team right now. This is going to be quite a ways out, but it is something that we are interested in doing, still planning on doing. It's not been forgotten. Gets asked every week. You won't let us forget it. It's fine. It's one of those things that, like, and this is my spiel for it every time, is people either it's the most important thing in the game or who cares type thing. And there's a few people that are like, it's a nice value add, it's good to have, but it's not a big deal if it doesn't have it. And it's one of those things where we feel like there's just other parts of the core game systems that we need to develop first. And once we've had more time to develop those, and the core game's feeling better and all that sort of stuff, it's this type of thing that we will expand into and be looking to improve, because it is important. It is incredibly important to a huge group of people, and we want to have a game they enjoy playing. All right. Mike, scale of 1 to 100. What is the likelihood of any future merch, including a plushie Gregory? Oh yeah. I'm like rattled by the question. Apparently, I want merch so bad. Every week, my mom sends me a message asking when she can buy merch. So don't worry, I can't forget it. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I keep getting told it's coming soon. It's in the works. Yada yada yada. The chances of it happening extremely high. I'd say 92, 97. We're extremely high. It's gonna happen. Chances it's gonna happen anytime soon. I don't know. Whoever's working on merch, hit me up in my off time. I'll do it in my downtime. I'll push for it. I'll call distributors. What do I need to do? I'll do it. Let me do it. I know nothing about implementing merch, but it might be really difficult. I just am a complete noob. But I know there were some plushies that were talked about at one point. I don't know if that ever came of anything, but I know it was a discussion at least. Whoa! No LP, garbage. Throw it away. Any plans to let Werebear form swap its basic attack from Swite to Gathering Storm, now that we have a new skill to support Lightning Bear synergies? I don't know plans on it that I've heard. I'd be more interested in hitting some Spriggan synergies than Bear, because it's got so many already. But yeah, it's possible. Suggestions to the forums, yada yada yada. Do you plan on doing a cooking stream for Q&A? A cooking stream? Like me actually cooking something? No. I could sit here and make sushi or and lots of other things too. But like stuff outside, like that I could bring outside of the kitchen. I can set stuff up. No, I'm not doing a cooking stream. Sorry. Oh, Ice Beetle Posse, let's go. Can't stop the Beetle Bros. Super Beetle Bros. By our powers combined, we are Beetle Bros. Okay, so we're gonna name them. This one's Donatello. This one's Michelangelo. This one's Raphael. This one's Jack. 'Cause I'm Mike. I guess so I'm sticking by my mistakes. It was right there and I missed it. It doesn't matter. Alright, more questions. Would it be possible for you to integrate automatic collection of shards as well as keys? It is technically possible for us to do that. We have no plans to do so. We'll get one day some kind of capstone passive at the last nodes of the skill trees for each class. They'll be exclusive with each other. Right now, I feel no excitement when I reach the far end of the skill tree. That's an interesting point you brought up. We actually considered that because like we do put like capstone ones up there, and we considered having them be unique from each other. Can't remember why we didn't, but that is something we have considered before. Any plans in lives to zoom out the FOV a bit? No. No. Good day. Good day. Any plans on adding some sort of base mechanic? Some form like base mechanic, like hideout or something. And if yes, would it be customizable? I'd love to get something like this in. I don't know. Sweet. We've always had this sort of hesitation to make a base mechanic like a hideout, a customizable hideout system. In the fear that it will pull people out of towns too much, and everyone's isolated on their own servers, and would not really have a few other little things, but if there were a way to customize some space that you went into frequently, I don't know. It's possible. I'd say I'd love to do it. I think there's probably some way to incorporate it that would assuage our concerns and still be interesting and exciting for the players to do. I don't know what that is off the top of my head right now. I'm sorry. Any ward changes? Yep. I don't think I can go into detail on them right now, but yeah, there's. I mean, all there has to be is one, like the ward affix, the maximum of T7 ward affix got reduced by 1. There's ward changes. I don't know what it's gonna be. But yeah, we are looking at ward. There's the intention behind the question is likely in regards to ward being kind of OP right now. And yeah, there's I think room for ward to ward's kind of finicky. It's a really interesting mechanic, and it lends itself really well to min-maxing. At the same time, when you min-max ward too hard, it kind of goes it kind of goes too hard. That's funny. Back-to-back Titan Heart. So while it is something that like would be nice to improve upon, we got some plans for it. So similar. Oh, some more idols. Good there. I mean, that is good, but not for us. Character sheets. Yeah, it's gonna happen one day. I promise. Eventually, it'll take a while. Can we have ray tracing and NVIDIA frame generation on settings, please? Not until we upgrade the engine. No, sorry, it's not possible. But we are working on upgrading the engine, so eventually. Any plans, ideas about idle crafting? Maybe limited form from a dungeon. Not with the forging menu. Yeah, I think that's a likely avenue for us to go. Any plans to adjust mob density? We do. We have been, and probably will continue to gradually increase mob density. Like mob densities in 1.0 is more than it was in 0.92, which is more than it was in 0.91, which is more than it was in it is increasing. I love this weapon so much. Just the visuals of having like, this is my anchor. I'm gonna hit you in the face with an anchor. All right, any chance there's going to be an option to buy more character slots? No. I'd love to have more characters with more builds, and just at the ready and love leveling them. We are planning on increasing the number of character slots available. You won't be able to buy them. We consider that a like pay for convenience type system, so we don't want to have it. But we do plan on having more. The way the character limit was implemented was really unfortunate. We're getting so many beetles this time. I love it. And the way the character limit got implemented, it makes it really hard to increase it actually, which I know sounds ridiculous. But we have slowly been decoupling it from why it's difficult to increase it. And it will become easier to increase it in the future. So it is something that we know people are looking forward to having more of. We do plan to increase it more still. It's not quite ready yet. And it's not the sort of thing that we're interested in charging for. Regarding the previous question on movement skills in town, do you consider to maybe just increase general movement speed when in town? We have thought of that. We've got something else in mind. Don't worry, it's gonna be great. It bothers me just as much as it bothers you. Do you have a better chance of getting higher LP and high corruption? Yes, you do. Or is it random? It is random, but it is influenced by the area level and your corruption. So once you get to level 100, it's the max the area level can affect it, and then after that, corruption affects it. And corruption does affect it in lower level zones. So if you're in like a normal monolith and you do increase your corruption, that does affect it as well. But it's a small amount at that point because it only goes up to 50 max, and it's not a big deal. But yes, once you're level 100, the only way to increase the chances of an item having LP as it's dropping, apart from COF stuff, is through corruption. It's not a huge influence, but it is noticeable. And it's been a while now, and I've already refuted it a couple times, but I'll do it again. There's been a couple posts that have gone out with anecdotal data suggesting the opposite is true. The sample size was not large enough. And then a secondary test that was run in the same post actually confirmed that it does affect it. So it works the way I'm saying it works. Guess who just survived Avalanche? Any plans to rework the current bazaar to improve filtering and make it easier to put up items for the right price? Yep. Any ideas about improving the stash tab search functions? Something like we get Google does meta search functions. Not quite like that, but yes. Yeah. Are we getting any melee love anytime soon? Yeah. So we definitely have kept melee in mind very acutely in the development of the Pinnacle boss content, and it's like range does have a very natural advantage, and we're taking steps to mitigate that natural advantage. Will the Ardent Creator Pack Design Unique ever make a return? The Spike can make a nice one-handed spear. I see that, Spike. I don't think we have any plans to bring back the pack as it was. We love doing supporter uniques. Supporter uniques are some of the best uniques we've ever had. Are supporter uniques. Some that you like have people who have just started playing 1.0, which is like the vast majority of players, have probably didn't realize that some well-established uniques were old supporter uniques. Sanguinus, for example, one of the first supporter uniques. You know, like there's a lot of really iconic Last Epoch items that have come from supporter uniques, which I think is fantastic. And we would love to get back in there and do more of them with people. And I think we will. The key thing is that the amount we'd have to sell them for to like break even on doing them. I know it sounds ridiculous, but like the amount that we'd have to sell them for to break even as the company is stupid. It's a point where you'd be like, people would be upset at the amount we'd be charging for them. They'd be like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's no way. Like, yeah. Like, it's just, it would be a bad look for the number we'd have to put it up for. And then on top of that, we'd have to put it up high enough to like, not attract too much attention so that we could fulfill all of it. And that's making it even more expensive. And that doesn't feel good. We don't want to do that. We'd rather have it be more reasonable and probably attach some form of randomization to who gets to do it. I think that's a much better way of putting it now. Because we don't have the time to work with everyone who would want to buy one at a rate that's reasonable. And we don't want to put it up for an unreasonable rate. So we'd have to limit the people who are getting a chance to do it probably through some sort of randomization. I don't know. This is very speculative on my part. But I would love to do more of them. If there's a way for us to do them reasonably and effectively and all that sorts of stuff, I would very much push to open that back up again. Last one. And the final question this evening, afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is for you. Are we going to get some build presets to save so we don't have to respec if we want to switch to a few different builds? Sorry, no. D3 Armory is not coming to Last Epoch. And that'll just about do it. We timed that well. Fitz, thank you for keeping me on schedule. We are right at the end of time. Fantastic. Oh. Oh, someone asked the question before the 10 minutes and I didn't do it. LB Haxor, you know what time this starts. You've been around the block a few times. Yeah, I'm actually ending on time instead of just dragging this out too far. But yeah, I had fun. What do I say? Hope you had fun. I know I did. I'll be back next time, same place, same time, same place next week. answering more questions, hanging out, playing some more stuff. Try and get this character up to a respectable level. Maybe we'll find a weapon. We got our isles unlocked finally. We got gaps galore in this bad boy of a build. Gotta get that LP rocking. Oh, we got gaps galore in this build. That's okay. I'm really enjoying this build. I'm liking it a lot. It's quirky, and the potion management is surprisingly tricky. If I failed to answer your question effectively or just didn't get to it, I apologize. Feel free to come ask it in the Ask the Devs channel on Discord. I have reopened that. It was just a little too busy for a while there, but we've calmed down enough that I can do it. We're still working on a plan for setting that up in a better way for long-term, high, basically when a cycle resets, having it be possible still, type of thing. That'll just about do it for us today. See any of you who are interested in coming back next week. In the meantime, let's go find someone to say hi to. See what's going on. Oh, Star Wars reference in the title gets me every time. I hope all you'll have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. Take after yourselves. Take care of yourselves. That's what I was trying to say. Bye.